At 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. I mean, it's Thursday. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, Pacific Standard Time right now. It's Thursday, the 16th of January, AD 2025, and we're gonna have a loosey-goosey The Hake Report show, everybody. I hope you do join me. I know I will be here. You know what? I want to talk a little bit about Crooked Joe Biden. He had his farewell address. You know, Crooked Joe. Phony Joe Biden. He acts like he knows. He acts like he cares about the country. I wonder if he really thinks that he cares about the country. But he's like, he's lamenting the getting rid of the fact checkers. And so thanks. So I will hopefully tell you guys how to have your internal fact checker. Have your internal fact checker. And it's from, in part, credit to JLP, because it was not just my own common sense. I had a little bit of common sense, I feel. Thank my parents, or I don't know, God. I think God puts a little common sense into us. And sometimes we lose touch with that common sense. It's common to all, but it gets smothered. Our common sense gets smothered by learning, pride, lust, all that mess. And so I would like to share with you guys how... did I turn on... I unmuted. I unmuted the wrong thing. No wonder I unmuted you, thinking I was unmuting this thing. Anyway, just having a little side conversation with the anchor baby, who's helping out oftentimes. And so I'll tell you guys how to... a little bit of the secrets of, being smart. In fact, let me tell you right now before we get started with the show. Know that you don't know, okay? Know or recognize, acknowledge that you don't know. It's pretty simple. I think that's the simplest thing. Yesterday I had a caller tell me that he's unbiased, and I like this caller, and you guys like him too, I think. But I don't think that's true. He's biased. I'm biased. Everybody's biased, I think. But the best way to overcome that is an assumption and stuff like that. Because you hear somebody say something, and you jump into all kinds of assumptions about what they think or what they believe. And that's not true or right. There's this guy, there's people in the chat who say stuff, or in the chat, right? And I see something that they say, and I might assume all kinds of stuff, or take on a negative attitude toward them if it's a judgmental, looking down on them, wanting to argue with them attitude, when it's not necessary, and actually they like us, they just disagree on some points, meaning JLP and Hake and many of what we say here. People, don't be so judgmental. Don't be they say that women are judgmental, I've heard. Wise men say women are judgmental. And they are. And males nowadays are just like women, judgmental, blind, in their imaginations, gossiping, slandering, even with cursing in their own heart. The Bible has a verse that says, don't pay too much attention, bosses. I'm paraphrasing. To what your servants say about you. because you know very well that you have cursed others in your heart. And that's not a reason to write somebody off for, that's not a reason to concern yourself with. That's just ego. There was a great, which is selfishness, which is not godly, which is a lie. There was a great call today on the JLP show of a guy who's, multiple calls, guys who are disrespected by their sons, and a man is unmoved by disrespect. There's a great thumbnail or title of a video that I think Frankie might have sent it to me. Somebody sent it to me, I think, or I came across it. It said, "Be quiet when disrespected," or something like that. And that's wise. So avoid like a personal attachment to facts, flat earth, ball-tardism. If you're a ball-tard, don't be like personally attached to your ball-tardation or your flat eartherism. People get triggered by just the mention of, oh, I love Israel, JLP, I love the Jews. And they go way past assigning beliefs to Jesse that he does not hold. And, stay out of your head. So that's, I guess, my advice for having, that way you have an internal fact checker. And there's all kinds of stuff that's said on the internet, and it looks maybe convincing, but don't believe it necessarily. You'll notice when we report things, when I say things, I'll say I heard, because I don't know, because I have heard. That's all I know, is that I've heard it. And if I believe it to be true, I'll repeat it like I believe it to be true, but I will qualify it as saying I've heard. Such as Reagan was a good president, I've heard. And people criticize me rightly for not researching. Fair. Very fair. But still, I like to be clear of what I know versus don't know. And it's good for you to be that way too. Same thing with the mainstream media, even the Bible, because you may be misassigning meaning to the Bible, what the Bible didn't even mean to be saying. So, nice. That's your little lesson for today. That way, because this mama government is acting like, oh, you need a fact checker. You need fact checkers to mama you because you're too dumb to realize that this may not be true. And I get it. It's kind of, stuff can be very deceiving. But they're the biggest deceivers, the ones who are pushing for the fact checkers. Phonies, ridiculous, mama spirit people, unchristian people oftentimes. Biden is our second greatest president, I heard from Hake, says Carver. So, yes, this is the Hake report. Whatever Reagan worshiper. Crooked Joe Biden. I didn't watch a lick of his thing, but he's mildly entertaining. He's Irish. I will get to your calls, everybody. I appreciate it. I will hopefully get to some Hake news mess. There are spam callers who, don't you like this scenery? We're looking at a place you cannot go because of land movement. The land is slipping away from Palos Verdes, Rancho Palos Verdes, something like that. This is Sacred Cove, I think. I'm glad I went there when I did. I got sunburnt. Spam calls. Even a Thai female prime minister from Thailand is getting a spam call, AI call, trying to fleece her for money, faking like it's from another so-called world so-called leader. Gaza deal agreed to but not finalized. We'll see what happens. They're going to do a little ceasefire and release some hostages on both sides, or prisoners of war. in one case. Biden's farewell, whatever. 2 major LA wildfires, still mostly uncontained. And space is so real. Blue Origin launched. I wonder if Jeff Bezos will come around and be a sensible man. I respect what he did with Amazon. It's pretty remarkable, you know? Anyway, India is in outer space now. Shout out. And Italy doesn't trust the dissatisfied hotel customers. They need your proof so that you guys don't be giving negative reviews. You have to give proof. And a quick Ninja Guinea from Mobetta says, Rick from VA, Hampton, VA, Virginia, finished yelling at that safety violation in his organization's warehouse. Let him in. Yeah, you can call in. It's been trying to get through on the JLP show, the Hake Report, Joel Friday. We'll get to you, Rick. Anyway, guys, let's see. Let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? Yes, think Hake will be doing fine today? Asks Jake. I am doing fine. Took a little walk yesterday. Very nice. Not at Rancho Palos Verdes, though. And some other things. Oh, I'll get to your super chats, guys. I did see those come in. You know, let me get to a call, though, or two, because I didn't get to a lot of calls yesterday. Denzel, a first-time caller from Chicago, is on the line. Denzel, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Nice to hear from you. Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. This is my first time calling in. I called into JLP before, so nice to get a chance, and glad that you guys are safe from the fire. Is that still good? Are you guys clear?
Yeah, so far so good. Thankfully.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, the question why I asked is the more I work on myself, the less interested I am in my career. Just wanted to know if that's like a normal thing that you guys hear.
Oh, interesting. I think it's fairly normal. Don't let that disinterest stop you from doing what you're supposed to be doing, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's fairly normal because then you're like less attached to like this ego thing about your career and stuff like that. Like
right.
I never have really even thought about career. And I'm not saying that that's because been working on myself, but it may be an off type of mindset to be into your career like that. A lot of people fall into, oh, we need education. Oh, I need to build up my career. And you're supposed to do your best as unto the Lord, right?
Right.
But yeah, I don't think it's a bad What do you mean by losing interest in your career?
Yeah, man. I didn't realize like how in my head I was about like just money in general. But the more I work on myself, the less I really don't care about money anymore. Of course, I want to like do a good job of what I do, but I was in a very competitive field at a high ticket company, I guess you could say, sales. So like everybody egos is just like crazy, and if you don't kind of like suck up to the boss, so to speak, and you're not like feeding their egos, then what's the right word to say? They just turn their back on you because you're not making them feel good. So I just stopped playing that game at work, and then I resigned because I was like, yeah, I can't
Oh, wow.
take being around these people like that. Not saying I was judging them, but like the drive for me to do good was gone because I wasn't like I wasn't obsessed with money at all anymore. So I got another job, thankfully, the same exact day. So that came from God.
Wow.
But yeah, man, I was just wondering if that was like a normal thing people normally go through.
I would think that it's fairly common. And
Okay.
like you said, it sounds like you had an undue preoccupation with money.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have quit. I don't know if I would have entirely like when you stopped kissing up. Like I presume that you were kissing up at one point and now you stopped. Then you stopped before you quit.
So this job is very, very hard to get into. It's like one of the big companies.
Wow.
And before then, I've like barely tried to get in, and then I got in. I was like, okay, well, you know, it had to be because I'm like working on myself. I'm not like listening to thoughts about like doubts if I can get into this company, blah, blah, blah.
Nice.
But like people just started to treat me different just because I got into this said company.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's fake because like I honestly don't care. I just want to, you know, do the best that I can. But when I got in there, it wasn't like what I expected. And then it was like a who has the biggest ego wins. And I didn't think that it was going to be like that at this company.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I figured it out, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then, yeah, they tried to create like it's just the environment wasn't me. And I'm just like, I can't keep doing this. So.
Okay. I might have, and I don't know, but I might have tried to stay with it longer. How long did you stay with it, this job?
Well, they gave me an ultimatum. And it was unfair. So I was still on ramp. And then I'm in sales. So if you don't hit a quota, then so usually when you're on that ramp period, they give you a chance it doesn't count, but they counted it for me and I didn't overreact to the situation. I'm like, why is this going on? This is not normal. Talked to the coworkers, was like, I've never seen this before. So they gave me a severance package, or it was like, you could dip. So I just dipped.
Oh, okay.
And then I got a job the next day. So like, through that experience, I didn't get mad at anybody. I just watched.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so now I'm here. So like, now I'm like, should I go to trade school or something else? Like where that environment doesn't exist. Cause I'm not competitive anymore. I want to do a good job, but without being, the right word is shiesty about the way I like dishonest about how I go about doing it.
Right. Interesting. So you're working, you have this new job, you're working, but you also have some time that you could possibly go to trade school or whatever.
Exactly. I have a contract. I'm on a 3-month contract now. So I'm good. So I get the severance package. So I'm double dipping right now, essentially.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Yeah.
I don't know, the way what you described is kind of the way of the world, though. So the world is shiesty. Many, many, many people, including even in the trades, will try to make more money off of you than they should, or try to scam the customer, or encourage you to do the same. They will steal from you if they can get away with it. So you're not going to... You probably know this, but you're not going to escape the ego battle of the world. You don't have to you can still do your work among these people, but you don't have to play their game.
Well, okay, cool. So like if I just keep living kind of like true, because I've become a lot more righteous, but it's not like a judgment thing. It's more about like what I'm okay with and what I'm not okay with. Not like putting in a filter of good or bad, but just like, okay, I know this is like being shiesty and I don't want to partake in that. And it's putting me at a disadvantage where if the majority doing it, they're getting ahead of you. So that's kind of the position I'm in.
At least short term they are. But there will be, you know, in the Bible, it talked about these different people who found favor with all men. Like Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his brothers in the Bible in the Old Testament. And I don't know how he found favor with these people, but he ended up being like the king of the prison. And he was like the second in command under Potiphar before Potiphar threw him in prison for his wife Me Tooing him. And he was the second in command under the Pharaoh after he got out of prison. And I don't know why that was, but I wonder if it was because he was living as God would have him live. Kind of like how it sounds like you may be doing now too. So long run, people will see the realness in you and appreciate and respect it. Some will. And you're going to do fine in the world, I think. Meaning money-wise, even if you don't care too much like most people do.
Yeah, I just care about doing a good job of what I'm doing, but like the way that I go about it is more important than the actual monetary value of it.
Yeah. Right on. That sounds cool, man.
Okay.
Sounds respectable.
All right. Cool. Well, I'll let you know, I'll check back in with you maybe like in 6 months and let you know where I end up.
Are you in your 20s or 30s or 40s or teens or what? Out of curiosity.
I'm around, so I'm 28 this year.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right on, man. Yeah, I wish you well. That's cool. It sounds like you're on the right track, hopefully.
All right. Well, we'll see. Only wait and see attitude. That's how I've been living the last year, and it's been working out for me. So I'm going to continue doing that.
That's cool, man. Thanks for the call, Denzel.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. Right on, right on. Chuck in New Jersey is on the line over here. Chuck, thanks for calling. How you doing?
All right, how you doing? How's the new year treating you?
The new year is treating me fine. How I'm treating myself may be something else.
You mentioned the fact that a couple of these platforms done away with fact checking. Is my assumption correct?
Yeah, because that's something that reportedly, per CNN, Biden lamented, the getting rid of fact checking. Facebook, for example. Yeah. Well, Facebook, I heard, is going to do something more like what X does, formerly Twitter, which is community notes. So the busybodies, the people who have time and energy and for it, they're going to go in and say, well, actually this. And the community notes may or may not be fair, but they'll be hopefully a little bit less corruptible than these fact checkers who are maybe getting paid by the government or, just lame-o liberals.
Well, I don't know that I would call it liberals or conservatives, but
okay.
I know I remember watching C-SPAN, and I saw, what's the girl's name, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. They were arguing with, I guess it was officials from Twitter or Facebook or whatever.
Make sure you speak up and stay close to your phone so you come through clearly, loud and clear.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm just getting over a cold.
Oh, right on, man. Same.
So, anyhow,
whoa.
I was saying,
cover your mouth. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
What I was saying was, I remember seeing a couple of our beloved congresswomen raising hell over the fact that they were fact-checked and removed from these platforms or censored or whatever. And they had threatened in a roundabout way to remove the protections that some of these platforms have through legal means, or what do they call it, the 530 protection or something like that. That's written into the law that protect these platforms from unnecessary litigation or whatever.
Right. Let me explain that if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's Section 230 or something like that. I
think you're right.
Yeah, allows. I'm a platform. I'm not a publisher. Okay, a lot of these social media companies, so they can't get sued for something that some user says about some company that's libelous, for example, or false or whatever. You can't sue Facebook for some shooter, mass shooter, publishing his mass shooting, and it hurts the egos of the family who witnessed their family member getting mass shot or whatever. You can't sue Facebook over that because they're just a platform. and they will try to censor that eventually anyway. But when they participate in undue censorship, they become sort of a publisher, where a publisher is more selective about what they publish, and then they can get sued over the stuff that they publish. So, yeah, I think that's the distinction and why these people can get perhaps undue litigation.
Yeah, now one of the things that they got riled up about was they said, you're taking away our First Amendment rights. In fact, when I was working, there was a guy that I used to work with, and he was saying the same thing about YouTube had cut off Donald Trump's conversation or remarks that he had made, and it says taking away his First Amendment rights. And I said to him, I said, you don't know what your First Amendment rights involve. I said, it doesn't involve private companies doing this. It's the government. When the government stops you from doing it, that's when your First Amendment rights are violated, not private company.
Right, but an American value is the freedom of speech, and it used to be that we respected each other's freedom of speech, I think, a little bit more than we do now.
Well, your First Amendment right is more than just freedom of speech.
Right.
It's the right of assembly, the right of to petition government.
Yep.
Right of, it involves a lot.
Yeah.
The right of religion, so on and so forth.
That's right.
I understand I'm not a constitutional scholar, but what I'm saying is that when you take these, like for instance, if he's talking about just the platforms taking away fact checking, I had to laugh about it because I thought, well, wouldn't that have been appropriate? Would not? Let me start it with it. Would it have been appropriate if in 1938, when they did War of the Worlds, that they had done some fact checking, stuff as people from here in New Jersey going out in the Pine Barrens and going crazy?
Okay,
that
so
actually happened.
War of the Worlds was a infamous sort of
play.
radio broadcast play, and it was presented sort of, it sounds like it's a real thing, and so people thought it was a real thing, and aliens were truly invading, and people went crazy, like trying to evacuate, or I don't know what they were all doing, but they believed it was real because it was presented kind of.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and then so fact checkers would have ruined the fun / terror / panic.
So most people, they panicked. They were up in the Pine Barrens, about 30 miles from where I live. They said it landed on some farm out there, and people actually went crazy. and this happened on, I believe it was on Halloween night.
Wow.
That this was presented. And they did at the very beginning of the broadcast. And I've heard the broadcast from one end to the other.
Yeah.
And they did say that this is just, not a screenplay, but a play on the radio.
Yeah, but if you didn't hear it at the very beginning, you came in the middle,
right?
Then you're like, what?
But is there a place for fact checkers? Yeah, I guess there is. But can they get overzealous with it? Can they get crazy with it? Yeah, I guess they can do that as well. And the idea is to, use common sense in checking some of this stuff. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that you have to, turn over every stone, every leaf to find out whether or not something somebody might have said is true or false or whatever. But
interesting.
Then again, the average person, if they're smart, if they're going to put out a lie, understand something, it might come back to bite you in your butt. So,
what did you hear my advice for having your own internal fact checker? Know that you don't know, stuff like that.
Well, I heard part of it, but then I had another phone was.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get all of it. But,
yeah.
That's I pretty much agree with you. It takes common sense to know the difference between what's true, what's real, and what isn't real.
Yeah.
And if you have any doubt about it, look it up for yourself. For Christ's sake.
You can look stuff up, but it's hard to find the truth. Even looking stuff up, you realize the more you look, the more you realize you don't know. I think sometimes you
Well,
look a little and think you do know, but yeah, fair
no,
enough.
it depends on the subject matter.
Right.
You know, it depends on the subject matter. My sister called me the other day, you know, about the industry that I used to work in. I gave her what information. I know what I didn't know. I told her, I said, I don't know about all the stuff in there.
Yeah.
I know about, you know, specific aspects of that industry, but not everything. I don't even think the CEOs of these companies know everything.
True.
But yeah. And one other thing I wanted to question you about.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other day I was watching the show, Jesse show, and he was talking about these bike riders hogging up the road out there in L.A. Is that correct?
That's right. I think it was in L.A. Yup.
Yeah. Well, the same thing goes on here in Philadelphia, which is about 10 miles from where I live.
Okay.
And I hate to admit it, but I used to participate in street racing.
Oh, as a car driver, street racing, like drag racing type thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We did it for thrills.
Right, of course. I mean, what else would you street race for?
For money.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah. We did it. We did it for thrill. We did it for money, for bragging rights. And we knew if we got caught, I mean, you know, it's a chance you take. And, you know, if you get caught, you might spend a night in jail. So we tried not to get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but, yeah, I mean, I was young and dumb at the time. But at this stage of my life, if I had a, you know, GTO like I had back then, I know I wouldn't participate in it because, number one, a speeding ticket today is going to cost you not only at least $300, but then you're looking down the barrel of having your insurance raised by $700 a year for 3 years because you did something dumb.
Right.
So, you know, that kind of put a stop to a lot of that stuff. But,
yeah.
Yeah, we did it for thrills. And did we outrun the cops? I'm not going to tell them.
That's wild that there are cars that legitimately do for months outrun the cops. And they're like a problem to these cops.
Well, I've seen it on cars and motorcycles. I mean, you take like a Suzuki Hayabusa that comes off the showroom floor able to run 180 miles an hour without any modifications to it.
Yeah.
And I've seen people out here on the interstate at night and on the Atlanta City Expressway. I've seen it happen. Guy went down the road past me, and I'm telling you, I counted 3 and he went out of sight.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the car guys. That's crazy, though.
Well, the guys in the cars, guys on motorcycles, you know, I've seen it too many times. In fact, a friend of mine got popped here in town here, coming off of the interstate, coming down off the interstate. And the cops had called ahead. One thing you're not going to do, you're not going to beat the radio.
True.
And they caught him. And, of course, they didn't beat his butt, but they took him to jail, took his bike. And, you know, he told me about it. And I said, well, why'd you do it in the first place? He said, well, why did we used to do this stuff years ago? I said, well, you're too old to do that crap now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
what a mess.
Yeah. But that's what I call for. I hadn't talked to you in a while. So
yeah, it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, same here.
Thanks, man.
Hopefully the fires out there don't calm down and things get back to normal.
Yeah, I hope so. The wind is supposed to pick up next week, though, so there's a danger. There's a risk that it could go crazy. It could kick up again. But hopefully there are some competent people to put it down.
We have the same problem here in New Jersey, especially here in the Pine Barrens.
Uh-huh.
And but we're fortunate in this section, in this part of the state. We have a lot of lakes and streams and stuff like that. So when the firefighters come in to fight these fires, they can lay down pump hoses and stuff like that. You know, they'll put in a fire break. If you ever fought a fire, especially a forest fire in the Pine Barrens, you'll know that those fires move fast.
Interesting. Ours were not forest fires. They were like chaparral and brush and stuff like that. A lot of it had dried. And those move pretty fast too, I think.
Yeah, they move fast, but you got to remember that a lot of the plants and stuff that you have for landscaping around homes and stuff like that are not native
right
to that particular place.
Indeed.
You know, they're brought in because they look good.
Yeah.
And
True.
they don't help to mitigate the fires or anything like that. They're not fire tolerant.
Yeah, I heard on X, and I think it's probably true, that eucalyptus trees from like Australia are here in California. I remember when my mother planted a couple of eucalyptus trees when I was a kid, and they're pretty big now, and they're very flammable, and they're foreign.
Sir.
They're exotic. Terrible.
Well, here in New Jersey, we have a section of the state that's considered the Pine Barrens, and fortunately, in this part of the state, there's a lot of tributaries and lakes, streams, whatever. So they have, adequate firefighting equipment there, and they have enough water to fight these fires.
Right.
Plus, you have people who have fought these fires, have figured out a way to beat these fires.
Yeah.
And so forth. But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen, because you have trails that are bike trails and motorcycle trails, four-wheelers, you name it, through Pine Barrens, and people go out there and they smoke.
Yep.
They camp out there, and in the summertime, especially in the summertime, if it gets dry, a pine tree holds a lot of sap.
Oh yeah.
And brother, when it catches fire and it starts to move, get out of its way. You try to get ahead of that fire by cutting a fire break, and they do have fire breaks that are cut through various sections of the forest out there in Burlington and Ocean counties. But still, you have there's people out there that get a thrill out of setting the fire because they can go out there and help put it out. God only knows.
That's interesting, man. It reminds me of this scene that I'm pulling up where this guy is playing golf with a piece of fire, and he just lights up this whole pile of dry stuff, and it lights up the ground all around it, and then eventually, supposedly, I don't know if this is the same scene, supposedly it starts a whole little forest fire that he just joking around, just playing fire golf, and it just goes crazy.
My brother was telling me, when was it, just
I don't know if this is real.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That he had taken out the Christmas tree and put it on. He has a pile of wood that he uses for the fireplace, and he took the Christmas tree out there, and he said he doesn't know what happened. So all of a sudden, the Christmas tree just went up. He said it burned. He said it burned so quick. He said it scared the hell out of it.
Yeah, I bet. Dangerous.
And, that's why they tell you, or at least around in the various communities, they have a day that they come around and they collect the Christmas trees.
Yeah, the neighborhood app. On the neighborhood app, I saw from one of my neighbors, I guess, on the neighborhood app, taking a picture of a Christmas tree that was let out in the lawn just the other day. Please keep your Christmas tree inside until it's time for trash pickup, because, there's potential for burning embers to light up the Christmas tree and start a little fire on the block. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's good hearing from you, Chuck, in New Jersey, man. I appreciate it.
All right, you stay well.
Thanks, man. You too. Take care.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye. Raymond in California is on the line over here. Raymond, thank you for calling.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. I want to get your insight on this because I'm at an impasse on being able to advise my kids, or one of them anyway. I got a big family, and I've told them all to forgive their mother and forgive me for not protecting them. And my oldest boy, who his mom rejected because she doesn't like me anymore, and he does. And then she hasn't gone to see the grandkids since they've been born, and she pretty much said she disowned him. And when I said, you need to forgive her, I could just see that he was not able to. And I'm wondering what to tell him next.
Maybe just drop it and live your forgiveness life, and don't worry about him. Maybe.
Okay.
That might be the way. Because it's, you guys messed up, and now he's messing up, and you can't necessarily protect your sons, especially when they're grown and have their own children.
So I've done all I can pretty much for now, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Because you can't really tell him what to do. You can't force him to see what you saw. Nobody forced you to see what you saw. You saw to forgive.
I believe it's for his own good, but I think I can relate to saying I'm not going to forgive this person, or at least I'm not ready to.
Yeah.
And
right.
So I didn't know what to say next, but I think just let it be.
I think so, because if you force it, that's not really for his own good. That's for your feeling good about saving him, if you will.
Yeah. I understand you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah, true. Man, interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Raymond and Callie.
Bye.
Take care. And William in California on the line over here. William, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I want to make this quick, man. Put out an APB for Rick. We need to hear from Rick. And guess who called yesterday? Art.
Yeah, I think it was.
Show,
I think it was Art from Ohio, I think.
Call in Art.
Well, it said Arc, but it might have been Art.
I think that was Artie Art.
I think it was too. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And it would would be something that he would call in
Joe
about.
Yeah, and we haven't heard from Joe either in a while. Hope everything's okay with Joe and Phoenix.
He might have made a New Year's resolution not to I don't know, to work on the farm or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey.
That's just something that came into my mind. I totally made that up.
You thought about it, didn't you?
I did think about it because I hadn't heard from him all year.
Yeah. Well, we want to hear from Rick, Mark, and Joe, and hope they're okay. And got a little Bay Area news here, man.
Okay.
We got another fire up here, man, over here in Oakland. We were just talking about the hills.
Okay.
Oakland Hills. We had a house burned down to the ground now.
Wow.
This particular area, I remember my parents, when they retired, they left San Francisco and went over to the Oakland Hills. It's the same situation as that stuff down there. Remember they had the Oakland Hills fire about 20 years ago. You remember that?
No, but that was up there. I might vaguely recall something like that.
Berkeley, Oakland Hills, yeah, it was a big one. And lots of brush, lots of trees. Yes, eucalyptus trees actually explode.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so they can create a lot of damage. But the lady is on our KTVU Channel 2 News, and she's speaking about the response time. And due to budget cuts with another female mayor in Oakland, that particular station, they had a station actually in the Oakland Hills where it would be a 4-minute response, turned into 20.
Wow.
And her house burned down to the ground.
Whoa.
The cause of the damage is leaning towards an electric car plugged in the garage, and the woman was renovating the house.
Ooh. And
it's a very hilly area with a lot of eucalyptus, grass, and everything. So nothing else was damaged. None of the other houses were damaged.
Cool.
They got lucky that it didn't spread to make it bigger, like what happened down there at Pacific Palisades.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Dodged a bullet, I guess.
Reverend Brown in San Francisco is back in the news. I sent you a story about him. He's pondering for this reparation thing again. Remember the Safeway stores we were talking about closing in the Fillmore?
Uh-huh. Oh, I think I saw that, and I think JLP's maybe going to cover that this week.
Yeah, so he let the blacks down. They're not getting reparations like we've been saying the last 3 years. They're not getting it. And so he says, you're closing this store because of racism. The store is being closed, James, like we said before, because they're stealing.
Right. People are stealing.
Taking the shopping baskets, stealing the products. They got all these devices. I sent the story to you, and you'll see all of these things. It looks like Star Trek to get in the store, to get out of the store. It's a headache. It's getting to where the store is not profiting. And they're just going to, because it's just a pocket of blacks in the Fillmore. It's not that many left. There's not enough blacks in San Francisco to fill up a football game.
Huh.
So it's just not very many, but the little bit that are in the Fillmore, they're still in the place dry. So they say they could no longer keep it open and everything. So Reverend Brown, with his usual thing, he says, we wanted to stay open, and that's our reparation. So, well, you went from $71 million to a store. The store is getting closed, James. That's all it is to it.
Yeah.
So.
What a mess.
What a mess, man. Let's just hope we get past all these things. And the lady that lost her house, I hope they're going to be okay. But, yeah, I know that area. And there is an actual station in the Oakland Hills. And it was closed due to budget cuts.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's crazy. What a mess.
What a mess.
Huh.
Well,
interesting, man. Well, thank you
salmon,
for the...
do you really have a salmon T-shirt on, man?
I think it might be desert pink.
Wow.
I meant to point it out earlier. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's the Hake Report La 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 T-shirt. I got this one from Teespring. I don't recommend buying from Teespring right now.
Right.
At least last I heard, they don't have their stuff together. So you may not get your order. I still haven't got mine from October.
Right,
but,
right.
Yeah.
So you're talking to somebody who's talking about street racing and everything. I would advise, I was in professional racing. So I would advise if you want to race, you should get on the track. It's the best thing. And I was on a professional level.
Yep.
And that means the trailers, the T-shirts, the uniforms, the PR. That's it. If you want to race, you go do that. You find a sponsor, you go race that way. It's much safer.
Nice.
So speaking of which, I'll be down there for old Mr. Antron Brown is going to defend his world championship.
Right on.
Remember, last race of the year was in Pomona. First race of the year is in Pomona.
Sweet.
So racing season starting, and black Antron Brown, world champion, will defend his championship.
And he's a black American.
You pulled him up one time. We talked about him.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah. So he did it right. You want to race, you go professional.
Nice. That's
on
cool.
On the track only. Yeah. Kids don't do that on the streets. All right.
That's cool.
Yeah. Let's try to hear from Rick, and I want to hear Artie Art.
Indeed.
Get him through.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Take care.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Let's see what we can plow through. These blacks, shout out. Crazy stuff going on in the world. I did get this one thing. This was funny to me. Caitlin Clarke, beautiful Caitlin Clarke, kisses up to the fake idea that we need to lift up the black women. I shake my head. But she has a stalker, of course. This is the white female NBA star, WNBA star. We used to put hard quotes on anybody called a WNBA star, but this woman is actually a star. Shout out. For a woman. 22 years old, roughly. She got Athlete of the Year or something like that from Time magazine or something, and kissed up to the black women. Whom, of course, she looked up to black women when she was, looking up to the basketball players. I remember liking Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and some of those other guys when I was a kid. I didn't care that they were black. It didn't have anything to do with anything. That's how whites are. It's most of the time. But blacks are like, oh, it has to be somebody who looks like me. That's some dumb mama thinking. But anyway, Caitlin Clarke is kissing up to the mama thinking. But that's not the point of this story. She has a stalker who walked into the courtroom and his first words were guilty as charged. Skull emoji, which I think means laugh really funny. His X account was eventually found with some creepy posts about Caitlin Clarke. This is the guy. Look at him. I feel you, man. That's black vernacular for I understand you, man. It's this out of shape. It's slightly out of shape, about my build, give or take, in an orange jumpsuit. What are those things called? Handcuffs on his hands in front of him. Glasses coming through his, he got a front pocket, lucky. And so here he comes. Hopefully he doesn't cuss, but here is the video. Even his walk is funny.
Morning, Mr. Lewis.
Guilty as
No.
Okay, so you couldn't really hear it, but he's like, guilty as charged. And maybe a woman judge talking to him. I don't know. Morning, Mr. Lewis. Guilty as charged. No. That's how you deal with these female judges. No respect. Just be casual and real.
Sir.
I'd sort of disavow, sir.
This is initial hearing.
Oh.
We are not.
It's an initial hearing. It doesn't have anything to do with rendering guilt or whatever, I guess. Female bailiff, that's the woman cop. Shout out. She looks tough enough for a woman.
You have a right to remain silent, and I
He already looked like he almost waived that right.
expect you to exercise that. Okay, this is just
She expects him to exercise his right to remain silent. This is just what?
telling you what the charges are.
Oh, just telling you what the charges are. You
Do not listen. I'll give you a chance to talk. It's not your time. Stop.
throw me the bookie. Oops, I'm spitting. I'm excited. I'm overexcited. Caitlin Clarke is a electrifying star. Okay.
Talking.
You can tell that he does not like this mama spirit judge. Stop talking. And he has his head down with his bald spot. He's a Santa Claus in training looking guy. Here he comes walking in again. Same clip over again. Cute
Morning,
lady.
Mr. Lewis.
guilty as
No. Sir, this is initial hearing.
Oh.
We are not.
He tries to pull back from his. She sat him down and pushed the chair in, and he like rolls back. This is not funny. Don't be like this, kids.
You have a right to remain silent, and I expect you to exercise that.
He's like an 8-year-old. I wonder if he's like part autistic or something.
Okay, this is just telling you what the charges are. You do not listen. I'll give you a chance to talk. It's not your time. Stop talking.
Sorry. Look at how he walks. He turned to like a 90-degree, like he's in the military. Was he in the military? Look at how he walks. Now he's confused.
Morning,
Where is
Mr.
it?
Lewis.
guilty as
Last time.
No. Sir,
Sir.
this is initial hearing. We are not.
What a clown. It's not funny. Don't be like this,
You
kids.
have a right to remain silent, and I expect you to exercise that. Okay, this is just telling you what the charges are. You do not listen. I'll give you a chance to talk. It's not your time. Stop talking.
All right. I don't care that much about it, but I'll like and retweet it. Shout out to the person who shared that. That was originally from this person. Probably not even originally from them. To nobody's surprise, creepy CC, Caitlin Clarke stalker, is an unhinged lunatic, says Heavens. He's funny for 30 seconds. That's about as long as the clip. I'm sure I'd get sick of him after that. I'm just replying to the tweet, the post. Let's see what people say. Hopefully they don't cuss. Looks like an FBI dude who went off the rails. All right. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know what he did. I didn't hear about that. Caitlin Clarke stalker. I didn't hear about this. Man accused of stalking WNBA star shouts he's guilty as charged, pleads. Oh, he pleaded not guilty yesterday, according to Court TV on YouTube. He makes outbursts in court, accused of stalking, proclaims guilty as charged, and then he declared not guilty. That's what you're supposed to do. Oh, look, he has See, he does have glasses. Texas man arrested, accused of stalking her. I don't know what he did. Lewis is accused of repeated and continued harassment. It's not harassment. I think it's pronounced harassment. Let's see.
Harassment.
Oh, you don't know.
Harassment.
No, I don't believe
harassment.
That was loud. Sorry about that. Aggressive pressure or intimidation. I mean, it wasn't not necessarily okay. That it could be unintentional intimidation because people are like crazy, and they're not trying to intimidate. They're just possessed and obsessed, which is evil and stupid, and really evil and sort of creepy, intimidating. JLP has had stalkers over the years. You know, in a man accused of stalking him proclaims himself guilty as charged. There's the girl. She can handle him. But no, I think it's better left to the authorities. Even if it's women trying to be authorities. Michael Thomas Lewis, charged with felony stalking of Indiana Fever. What a silly name. Kind of a basketball team, Indiana Fever. And WNBA Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clarke. The 55-year-old, 55, she's 22. Why are you stalking that girl? She's too young for you, sort of. Although some of these older guys, you know, I heard that, you know, guys in their 80s, some of the movie stars get with gals in their early 20s. What's wrong with those girls in their early 20s? But anyway, he shouted, guilty as charged, accused of repeated continued harassment. I heard that it's harassment. Anyway, when I was young, beginning December 16th, behaved very erratically in his first court appearance, appeared to be laughing and joking, noting he had not been taking his medication. What's a 55-year-old man doing taking medication that would affect his behavior? Or the lack of which would affect his behavior? Shout out to the 55-year-old man. That's a Gen X. Prosecutors said they're seeking higher than standard bond because he traveled from his home in Texas to Indianapolis, Indiana, with the intent to be close in proximity to the alleged victim. Lewis, what's the guy's name? Michael Thomas Lewis. What a nice name. Unfortunately, not a sensible man, apparently. Held on $50,000 bond. If bond is posted, will required to wear an ankle monitor and remain in Indiana. Indiana? Oh, yeah, because that's where he committed the crime. Court filed not guilty plea on his behalf. She suggested he remain silent in jail and only speak with his attorney. Look at her. How can you not stalk that? She's given like a heart hands. I'm kidding. I disavow all stalking, except for the one in which Cole arrived for Hake. I don't disavow this stalking. Pardon me, there's a bug catcher attached to my thing. I don't disavow the stalking in which my coal came. Look at that. Look at that beautiful coal. Black gold. That might not be what it actually is. I think black gold is oil. Could be wrong. Isn't that nice? Shout out to, I think it was Sho Sugino, one of my favorite flat earth friends, who gave me a whole bunch of this coal stuff in my Christmas stocking. I know it's the 16th of January, but when you look at this, I've never seen it before. And I think it is coal. Raw mined coal. People got, like I said, like I joked with you guys around Christmas time, people got black lung or, something. Mining this stuff for Hake. There's still dirt on it. So thank you for sacrificing your life for a gag gift to Hake, because Hake is not a good flat earther. He's a ball-tard, and he got coal for being a bad person. You get coal for being naughty. N-A-U-G-H-T-Y, naughty. Not N-O-T-T-Y. So that's the only stalking that I avow. This is what I threw off of it. It's supposed to, catch bugs. Sorry, PETA. Not sorry. I don't know. So that gal, don't do that. Oh, Lord. So, anyway, we, yeah. She looks like a girl, a girl playing basketball. But yet, she shoots threes with ease, unlike Hake. And she may or may not be taller than Hake. She's 6 foot something, maybe 6 foot nothing, which is plus or minus. Which is Hake's height, plus or minus. But, whatever. Oh, there's more. No contact order, stay away order, blah, blah, blah. Don't be within 5 feet of either of the 2 arenas where they play their home games. Repeatedly been driving to Gamebridge Fieldhouse. In another, he said 1 foot on a banana peel and the other on a stalking charge. What? Actually caused Caitlin... The social media posts actually caused Caitlin Clarke to feel terrorized, frightened, intimidated, or threatened. In an implicit and explicit threat was also made with the intent to place her in reasonable fear of S-word battery, meaning he would grab her or more or worse. Don't batter these gals sexually or non-sexually, especially not justifiably. What a mess. Overcome your neediness, Mr. Lewis. They tracked down his IP address to a hotel in Indianapolis and a public library downtown. It's not funny. It's not funny. Told officers he was on vacation. Just the same reason everybody else makes posts. That's why he makes so many posts about her. He didn't mean any harm. He fantasized about being in a relationship with her. I'm laughing with him, not at him. AP, Associated Press, named Caitlin. They call it Clarke. They call her Clarke, but Caitlin. Female Athlete of the Year. Keyword female, which when you put female in front of athlete, it means not athlete. I'm kidding. She's athletic. For 2024, leading Iowa to last year's national championship game, she was a top pick in the WNBA draft and went on to win Rookie of the Year honors in the league. Well, nice. Terrible. So that's who cares? This is part of the internal fact-checking thing. Because you don't need to be concerned this is why I say it's part of the internal fact-checking thing. And hat tip to God, Jesus, Paul, and and JLP. Don't even believe your thoughts. You have this thing, she's kind of pretty. Wouldn't it be great to be with a gal like that? What are the chances of a gal like her and a guy like me? You gotta even internally not believe your thoughts and thinking that you know what you want. Don't believe that. Right? That's part of the internal fact check thing. But these people who are off their meds or on their meds or think they should be taking meds or think they should just stop taking their meds, are turning them kooky. What a mess. Let me get to Tim in Dallas, Texas, Tejas. Tim, how are you doing?
Hey, Hake, what's up? How are you?
Doing fine. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for asking, my friend.
Nice.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask you a question. Do you believe in the concept of high-value men?
Yeah, kind of. I kind of do, actually.
Nice.
And I disavow it. It doesn't sound right, you know. So there's something in me that doesn't like it. But I kind of know what they mean in both a worldly sense, which may be also a practical sense. There's an ego sense, which I don't like. But yeah, I kind of get what they're saying. You're rich is one aspect potentially of a high value man. You are a go-getter. You're confident. You're self-motivated. You are of value to other people. You have strong character. You can't be moved. Stuff like that. That's what I think of. And maybe you don't have the best character sometimes, but yet you're still a so-called high-value man.
Yeah, and I think, you hit the nail on the head when you say all of those things. All of those things describe high-value man. I think what describes a low-value man is probably the guy that was stalking Caitlin Clarke.
Yeah, true. Yep.
So if anyone's out there wondering, hey, how do I become a high-value man? Look, as long as you're not in that position to where you're sitting there saying, guilty as charged in a courtroom, you're going to be on a better path. But that's something that I've been trying to implement into my life, and I think it really goes along really well with what JLP talks about with Bond and everything like that. And really what got me into it a lot was Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, that black guy who died. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Are you black or white or Hispanic or Asian or what?
I'm Latino.
Okay, nice. Right on. And are you in your 20s or teens or 30s or 40s or 50s or what?
Late 20s, man.
Nice. Okay, so it does jibe a little bit. I think it's Jibe with what JLP talks about to a certain extent, but that is limited because you don't want your motive to be a high value man because that's selfish, prideful, ego. It's not an end unto itself. You know, when I talked about exercising, and some people understood it wrong, at some point I started exercising, and that was good. But then it started becoming like a an end unto itself. And I don't know if you know what I mean by having it be an end unto itself. It became like rather than just something that I do, it became something that I needed to do. Yep. In a like a pull, compulsion, ego, prideful way, rather than a simple, healthful, balanced, normal, balanced life way. Same thing with wanting to be a high value man, so-called. That's like an egotistical thing. Oftentimes, or it sounds like it anyway.
Yeah.
Rather than something that naturally happens when you seek first the kingdom of God and stuff like that.
I see. Well, along with what I've been struggling with is like, I guess I'm misinterpreting what seeking the kingdom of God is.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of times people do that too. And then that becomes a prideful, fake pursuit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure that some people probably would think that Hake has that for some reason.
Oh, yeah. Because, oh, yeah. People, and they may be right about some of their criticisms. Or they may not need to be thinking about that. But some people can but people can see through you. People can see through you on some level, and they may jump to some of the wrong conclusions, but they see something off about you that you don't even realize that you're giving off.
Wow. Yep, that's what the chat is for.
Yeah, definitely. The snake pit serves a purpose.
Not the snake pit. Oh, it gets wild in there. They say some off-kilter things.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's cool though, man. Interesting. Do you understand why I have qualms about the term high value man?
Yeah, I have qualms with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't really like labeling things like that, because it's kind of beta almost to like to label it. It's really just, it's not high value man. It's just like alpha, I guess, like just men, what men are supposed to do.
Yeah, it's sort of like high value to whom? Like wanting to be valuable in the eyes of a woman, and sometimes the eyes of a woman are blind. But anyway.
That is so true. I mean, we're all blind to certain things. You know, that's not just to say that only women are, but yes, women can, misinterpret.
True.
Something. That's what's wrong with our relationship culture, I think, today.
Yeah, definitely. It was interesting. JLP, I don't know if you heard JLP with the experts today in mostly the first hour. Joelle said or maybe it wasn't Joelle. It might have been that caller, Steven from Las Vegas, said something to the effect of the way you mentioned the word relationship culture, the way we go about seeking relationships and stuff like that and developing relationships and all that may be way off from what God wants or what would be normal or right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, God's way is practical.
True.
And what we want is always surface level, or it's a aesthetic, it's a status, it's, a certain look or whatever. Or sometimes people just don't want to put in the work.
Right.
Like, you'll have very average people, and average people get average people, if you want to put it that way. But there are some women who believe, like, I don't want to work after I have kids. I want to be able to work if I want to, and they have all these crazy demands. But in the end of it, really, like, you're talking about, to have that lifestyle, like the top 10% of earners. I mean, if you want that kind of a person, then you also have to put in the work, because they did to get there.
Yeah.
There's levels to life that people don't understand. It's not even funny.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
I take it pretty seriously. I'm trying to more now because, time is money. We're all on borrowed time, I think.
Time is money. Do you agree with me that time is more important than money?
Time is more important than money. That's a good way of putting it.
I learned that in college, and I've held on to that one because it makes sense. Maybe I should let it go, but time is more important than money. But
time is invaluable.
Right, but time is an illusion too.
So is money.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So when I think of high value men, what it takes to become like a high value man, I think working, saving your money, maybe investing wisely, exercising, getting enough sleep, eating properly, praying without ceasing. Are you doing all those things?
Yes, except praying without ceasing.
Ah. And that's the basic.
That's basic. Man, I don't understand what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
guess I forget to.
It's not first. God's not first, or whatever is not first.
So if you're forgetting about it like that, then that means that you're in some way you're basically saying God's not first in your life.
Yeah, it's like I think that it might be like you don't really. People who do that, I'm saying the general you, and you too maybe. You don't. It's like you don't really believe in God. You don't really care. You're self-seeking. It's kind of like this pursuit of being a high value man is self-seeking, and and that's. I think that's, I don't know, see for yourself. See for yourself what it is.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I think about it because you went out to California and you joined up with this organization and everything. And
I was born in California. I didn't have to go to California. I was born 35 minutes from Bond.
Come on, Hake. You know what I mean. Man.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, what? What were you saying?
I'm just messing.
Okay, so I'm like working at Bond and all this stuff and coming to church and
look, yeah, you're working at Bond and all that, and you obviously have some sort of business type aspect going for yourself and everything like that. I mean, I just that wasn't self-seeking in those moments.
What? Building up my life? It may or may not have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, because doing what makes sense helps you even better than being self-seeking. But sometimes in being self-seeking, especially if you're a sophisticated self-seeker, then you know how to act around people in a way that doesn't turn them off. Like the Jews.
Yeah.
They're very high verbal IQ, and they know how to get along with people. Even though it's self-seeking, they're friendly and you like them. And that's how everybody is. I mean, that's how everybody who's not insane is. I mean, everybody's insane, but the people who are not like that guy who was a stalker, he didn't know how to...
Guilty as charged.
Well, I didn't care about the guilty as charged thing, but when he was like scaring beautiful Clarke, that was not high verbal IQ or whatever it was. That was not the sophisticated self-seeker. A sophisticated self-seeker would become a friendly fan and maybe weasel his way up into like closeness with her if he's really that clever and persistent, and I don't know. But he didn't have the sense not to bear his dark, evil, desperate spirit before her, sexual spirit.
If he was a little bit more American Psycho, he could have probably, sophisticated his way into some sort of relationship. But that's what people do at a high level as well. I think that's why what you're saying is very helpful, because that is good to be aware of as I seek to go into like a higher level of job, like corporate or whatever that might be. Just to understand, like, sometimes people are really there just because of their own ego, and God is like the last thing on their mind. So that's kind of a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, but the people with God on our mind, quote unquote, some idea about God on our mind that's self-fooling as well. What a mess.
Man, you just can't win, huh?
Yeah, you can't. You can.
Well, thanks, Hake. I think you fixed a lot of stuff for me.
That's cool, man. It's fun talking to you. Call me again, Tim in Dallas.
You're great, man. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Bye.
All right. You as well. Bye. That's fun. Let me get to John in Kentucky. Kentucky John. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing good. I'm doing swell.
Right on.
Man, hey, what's the guy's name that called you yesterday talking about Jesus being white, and he could not answer it? He was just blabbering. What's his name?
Well, it doesn't
Haden.
matter. Yeah.
Haden. That's his name. It does matter.
Why?
That's why I'm calling.
Okay.
Because, his racism will not allow him to admit that Jesus is not a Eurocentric, white, pale skin, just devil. It won't allow him to do it. Like, he really has fixed his brain to say, Jesus is white, and that's the way it's going to be, and there's no change in that.
Jesus is not a white devil.
He's definitely not a white devil. He's not pale skin. He's not pale skin whatsoever.
Well, is he no-skinned, or what is he?
He's dark-skinned. He's dark-skinned.
When he resurrected, he resurrected with golden skin.
Let me tell you something. When he was walking the earth just like me and you,
yeah,
he was more like me than he anywhere close to being like you.
Okay.
That's a fact.
Maybe. I think he was more olive.
Well, see, that's what white people like to use, racist white people, because they don't want to give. They can't simply say that Jesus was a dark-skinned man. They can't do it, even though the Bible says it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hard for y'all to do
bronze. He was bronze.
Okay, well, you can't name a bronze white person. You can't name a bronze white person unless they go get a spray tan.
No,
that's
I would say
that
Mel Gibson is pretty bronze.
Listen, man, Mel Gibson looks horrible because he smokes and he drinks and his skin is terrible. That's why he looks the way he looks. But y'all are pale skin and y'all turn all different colors.
Right.
And y'all are not white. Y'all are not white.
Okay.
And also the disciples, they're dark-skinned people too. All of them were Hebrews. The disciples and Jesus Christ.
That's right.
They're all
not
Hebrews.
all of them, right? Weren't some of them?
Yes.
Other things?
Look it up, man.
You might be right. I don't know.
But the thing is, where they came from, that's the people were people of color. They were not Eurocentric people. And y'all adopted the Bible because y'all are culture vultures. Y'all take everything. White people even believe they were the original Egyptians, bro. It's ridiculous.
We just think that the Egyptians were lighter. They were like white.
Hey,
but we don't think that we were Egyptians.
Egyptians were dark-skinned Africans. That's what Egyptians were.
I don't know if that's true.
No, that's true. The Egyptians of today are not the people of yesterday. They migrated there.
Are you biased?
And lay claim to it. No, I'm not biased because I used to think the same thing about white people. All the images that were programmed into us from birth to whenever. I thought everything was white.
Yeah.
Until I was old enough to learn that white people just whitewash everything and claim it as for themselves. That's how y'all operate.
Well, we just have appreciation. We explore.
You're liars.
No, it's just normal.
Hey, the only reason why white people are conquerors and no, listen.
No, sorry, I'm looking at the chat. Somebody says his grandfather died of black lung. Sorry, Raj Laser. He said, real funny, Hake. Okay.
But anyway, you guys only make up between 8 to 10% of the world's population. You guys are the minority in the world. But you claim everything. You claim that you're the Indians. Like how can white people claim that they're Indians, man. Just because
y'all
have the power to do so.
Well, some of our ancestors mixed with the Indians a little bit. Is that what you mean?
But I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. But all white people claim to have a little bit of Indian in them, which is stupid.
Right.
It's the dumbest thing in the world.
I mean,
I was going to say.
But who cares?
I was going to say one more thing.
Okay.
About how evil y'all were. Oh, yeah. When the Bible says the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, that was God putting y'all in position to rule, and that rulership has come to an end, and it's just currently just falling and just tumbling, man. Y'all have nothing left to stand on. Have nothing left to stand on.
People even worse than us are taking over. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's got to get worse before it gets better. That's the thing. So when y'all complain about it's getting worse, y'all telling the truth.
Yeah.
But it's all in God. It's all in God's plan. So y'all think that you guys are gonna gain rulership, and it'd be like y'all's last 400 years of how white people elevated and took credit for everything, all the patents and the inventions and everything. Y'all think y'all so just smart and man. I mean, I'm just being honest, man. White people are full of it, man. They're full of it.
Why does it bother you?
But let y'all, because it's all a lie. And, a lot of people are still under that spell like y'all are just so great, but they just don't know how y'all come to greatness.
Right.
And it was through evil means. Not because y'all just some good and uplifting moral people, because y'all are not.
Okay. Well, it's good to hear from you, man.
Being honest, man.
I got to keep it moving, John in Kentucky. Take care.
Keep it moving. And Haden is not white, bro. If he's white, then Mary's white, then Joseph's white, and all them people are white. And white people did not rule back then in that region.
What about the Romans? Were the Romans white?
The Romans were white, even though, some of the people were colored too, but they assimilated to that culture over there.
True. Yep.
But they were white, and they were evil, and they were homosexuals, and they were deviants. It was an evil culture over there.
All right.
Yeah. So
thanks, man.
Don't take pride in that. Yeah.
Okay. Take care. Bye. There is one line open, guys. I'm going to try to get to all of you, but I would like to get to these super chats. Mo Betta gave some Ninja Guineas. I read that one already from about Rick. He also says, with another Ninja Guinea, War of the Worlds radio broadcast stinks of China virus hoax shenanigans. COVID hoax shenanigans. Interesting. He also says, nice chest tattoo, Hake, but get some sun, bro. Yeah, a lot of people think I'm wearing a skin-colored shirt. Pretty amusing. Thank you, Mo Betta. I have to zoom all the way out to scroll and then zoom back in. Jesus was God in the form of man and could have showed up however he needed. It would have been irrelevant for him to show up as an Eskimo? Interesting, says Mo Betta. God in Christ. Mo Betta says with the diamond, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, homie. Elizabeth Warren called herself American Indian. Axe, Tennessee caller, Kentucky caller. If you ever bullied a poor little white kid in school, I'll have to remember that. John in Kentucky, did you ever bully a poor little white kid in school? Good question. Tennessee or Kentucky or Haiti? He hails from Israel, the one true. Thank you, Mo Betta. Shout out to the supporters over on this Rumble crew. T-Fly Monkey, Crichton Herndon, Age of Inversion, all the rest of you guys. Is white man 14-year-old over here today? Don't know. Gregatron gave a, all right, Hake, this is Streamlabs. You've had enough coffee for the week. I'm back on Streamlabs. Thanks, man. But I did get some coffees from Chris. 77, 3 coffees. Hey, Hake, this was yesterday. Sup, he says. Very nice, man. What's up to you? Thanks for the support. and a popcorn, this marathon coffee. He puts so many words, it's water. He turns the coffee watery. But I like watery coffee. There has been a lot of speculation and conjecture around this LA fires over the past week or so. The term DEI has once again made its way into the narrative. Usually gets used as a way to signal that a black person got hired, but now it's been used to mean someone who wasn't a white male was hired. Clarence Thomas was a DEI hire, but that's a different topic. Was he qualified? Did he earn his way? I think he was qualified. I think he did earn his way. I did call it affirmative action ignorantly. You know, I call it affirmative action because George H.W. Bush did it, but George H.W. Bush didn't know that Clarence Thomas was based. Because George H.W. Bush doesn't like the likes of Donald Trump. And that's what Clarence Thomas is like. He is like a Donald Trump, unshakable, immovable, friends with billionaires, gets gifts, but still doesn't change his rulings because he is based. And that's why the billionaires like him, because he's based. He is a living history. He is the one true justice. Let's get down to brass tacks, continues Popcorn. If a white male were in charge of the LAFD, LA Fire Department, what would be different? Would that calm the Santa Ana winds? No, but they might have cleared the brush. They might have cleared the brush. And might have made sure that that reservoir wasn't empty, bone dry for over a year, according to what I heard. And they might have been like, hey, you know what? The National Weather Service says high on just after New Year's was high fire risk today. Let's look out for those hills. So it wouldn't have calmed the Santa Ana winds, but it would have maybe meant competence would have stopped things. I've yet to hear anybody talk about what decisions she made as chief that were tactically wrong, that have made the fighting in the fire worse than it should have been. Listen to Michael Schellenberger. Look up Michael Schellenberger, Popcorn. I don't know if he's talked about her specifically. Just a bunch of conjecture. Have any firefighters weighed in on what she has done wrong? It just seems to be a mashup of people blaming Karen Bass, Gavin Newsom. No E at the end of Newsom. And the fire chief. I know that because there's a woman who's his cousin or something, distant cousin, whom I like her squealy voice, and she plays harp, or used to. Joanna Newsom. Shout out. Indie woman from 20 years ago. Pretty, too. She's his cousin. Probably a liberal, just like him. But all the conversation about what they actually did wrong would have made handling 4 fires at once less devastating. You know, haven't you heard people talking about stuff they could have, the leadership, whatever, the people that handle this stuff could have done? I don't know what they did wrong, but I know what they didn't do right. As far as I'm aware, it's not even known how the fire started, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it is known how it started, but it could have been stopped once it did start. They did talk about the trimming the, they should have trimmed brush back from power lines, because that's one way that fire starts. And also they could have not encouraged and enabled homeless bums and druggies who tend to start fires as well. But it's not just the homeless. Like one guy called in and said people throw cigarettes. Could be anything. Fireworks. Yeah, but like I said the other day, meth heads are pyros. They like to start fires. Per Michael Schellenberger, I believe it was him. Oh, did my stream stop? Is my stream okay? Okay. Stream good? 1, yes. 2, no. 3 was iffy. But okay, now, maybe. Okay, Carver bought a coffee. Hey, Hake, can you ask Grok if Hakenomics is a viable economic strategy? I think the specific were something like 25 cents an hour for mandatory volunteer labor, 40 hours a week, and every homeless person in the country. Nice. Good suggestion, Carver. I'm in a terrible rush. I can't do it on the spot, but Ronnie from Ohio bought a coffee. Brother Hake, do you agree with me when I say that your caller Hades? Did you mean to call him Hades? Haden from Texas been radicalized? Yeah. He couldn't really explain his views on why he believes that the Holocaust didn't happen or why he believes Jesus was white, and I presume it's because he's been misled. Poor soul. Oh, come on, mama. But anyway, he couldn't even admit that whites are capable of doing evil in large numbers. Face palm emoji. Shaking his head, black person emoji. See how far I can take this. Oh, by the way, buy me a coffee. Okay, whatever. Never mind. That was misinformation. Oh, man. I can't do it. I can't find you. I can't find you guys. I'm a boomer. Oh, well. Thank you, Ronnie. Appreciate that. I encourage him to check out my opening statement about what Biden said about the fact check and have like an internal fact check. Know that you don't know. And also question your thoughts too, because your thoughts and stuff, they mislead you, and your desires are not your own. Their desires will leave you miserable. It's not right, you know? I've been wanting to get to that Reddit thing for a long time. Okay. Thank you guys for the support. I'll have to, any others that I may have missed, hopefully I'll get to them another time. But I got to get to my favorite caller from the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio. Maze, how are you doing?
Hello, James. How are you this year?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm marvelous as always, and happy and joyful and all those different things. But yesterday, I was talking, somebody was discussing about the houses that didn't get burnt down on the same street.
Okay.
And it was strange because it can rain on one side of the street and not rain on the other side of the street when nature is at work. But we don't have sense enough to know that.
Okay.
Try to create everything except that. His last frontier. But anyway, and my other point is, you was talking about Bruce Jenner. He was a good athlete too, wasn't he?
He was indeed. He was a great athlete. He was a decathlete. I mean, he didn't. I don't know if he was any good at like basketball or soccer.
Well, he was a swimmer,
but he did decathlon pretty well. I mean, he won the Olympics, I heard.
Yes, but what is he now? Still a man, but what is he portraying himself as being?
Oh, he's playing woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the stalker that was stalking the young lady. Why do y'all do that? Always because
what do you mean, y'all?
Please. You won't like what people got to say. You got to stalk them and threaten them and all of this stuff. I mean, you want to let people have their opinion and leave them alone.
He wasn't necessarily stalking her like because he hated her. He wanted her. He was attracted to her. He wanted her.
And then you say he on medication. That's an excuse you always use. They on medication.
Hey. That's just. I was just reporting what they say. It's not an excuse because he shame on him for taking medication and shame on him for going so crazy to so-called need medication, or shame on his parents who should be in prison.
Don't
Shout
you
out to Joelle.
think about all the other people that do try to do harm to people because they don't like what they have to say? Same scenario.
Yeah, it's evil. They're evil people doing that. Yeah. What do you mean, y'all? You mean human beings?
I admit it. So if you had to look at, and then my last one to you.
Yeah.
If you had to look at Melania's resume and Michelle's resume and Jill's resume, what would she have on it?
Melania would be, I am the most beautiful out of these three. And also, I'm the most ladylike. Michelle would be, I came from South Side Chicago. And for the first time in my adult life, I'm proud to be an American. And then Dr. Jill would be like, I'm a doctor, just not a medical doctor.
That makes no sense.
I know, I'm just joking around.
And then, I forgot Bushwife. And what would you, introduce her as life, what she did in her life.
Laura Bush saved W. Bush from being an alcoholic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You did. I would say what I would do if it was me.
Yeah.
To introduce them with the life story, to tell about, I compare her with Vanessa Williams.
Who's Vanessa? Which one is Vanessa Williams?
The one, Miss America.
Oh, the black one?
Yes. I would compare her with her because she's in photos that the little kids shouldn't even be seeing or knowing anything about. But she's First Lady. So
she's not that black. She's sort of black.
And I take the two teachers and said that was their career. They never took nobody's husband from them or cheated on them, somebody that had a wife.
Wait, Dr. Jill, I will have you know, did you know that Dr. Jill took Biden's wife?
Biden's wife was already dead when they met each other. So.
Oh, are you sure?
I plagiarizing other people's thoughts. Yeah.
All right, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So y'all plagiarize too much and get stuff from people and try to use it to make it look like it's something that was done, but you're plagiarizing. Like when you're doing a term paper and you plagiarize it, you get in trouble. And then y'all just like January 6th, y'all would not accept that was somebody trying to overthrow the government. You see Mike Pence when he shook his hand.
They wanted to stop the overthrow of the government.
No. It wasn't stopping. Well, why this time? Why did it go down so smooth?
Because Trump won like a smooth criminal.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trump got all them criminals around him that he tried to put somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And Lord have mercy on all y'all.
Thank you. We need it.
He plagiarizing.
We got it, actually. He already did have mercy on us.
Now, why are they mad with Musk now? They was happy with him when he was spending his money.
Mo Betta.
Now they use him, now they want him to go, but he want to control stuff.
Mo Betta stand-up says with a diamond that you give him, Mays give me PTSD from my old girlfriend to this day.
I'm glad I do. But I'm not his old girlfriend, so he has that's his past, and that's what he has to deal with.
Indeed. True.
And then this reparation stuff.
Or he needs to not deal with his past anymore.
And for what? For what? You don't want me to call him a wigger, so for what? Everybody's not looking for a reparation.
Good. You're not looking for it, are you?
Somebody else got the reparation.
Right
One day
on.
y'all going to figure out who got the reparation for the people working for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And creating some of the things that y'all enjoy today, and somebody else is living off of it.
You know what, Mays, I got to run.
But then you have a good one.
Thank you.
I have a good one, James.
You too. Take care. Bye. Rick in Hampton, VA is on the line here. Rick, I'm glad you called and got through today, hopefully. What's up?
Man, let me tell you something, James. Everybody will listen to your show for knowledge today, brother.
That's right, and they're getting it.
Man, look, you know that church Jess was talking about earlier when the preacher that made the girl go up?
Yep.
And,
made the pregnant teen apologize. The pregnant teen had to apologize to the congregation for getting pregnant out of wedlock.
Absolutely. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what it was. I live minutes from that church, probably about 10 or 15 minutes from that church.
Oh, really? And have they gotten threats?
Sir.
Have you heard of them getting threats and stuff?
It's a video that one guy walked up there, was trying to confront the pastor, and he was out of order.
Yeah, of course.
But my thing is, and he's supposed to be a Christian.
Oh, wow.
It lets people
Christians don't stalk or threaten or get crazy.
It lets you know everybody don't learn nothing. They don't focus. Well, I can say this, like most time when you go to white churches or biracial churches, they tend to focus on the teaching of the word.
Okay.
Most black churches tend to be emotional. You hollering and screaming because you get delivered from problems that you caused yourself.
Right.
And that's what happens. Most black churches tend to be more emotional and like, can you feel my pain?
Yeah.
Pretty much. But anyway, I can understand what that preacher was doing.
Yeah, me too.
He was trying to get people to start being sorry when they break God's commands. Man, people are breaking God's commands like they don't exist.
Yeah, but you can't make people. It's a trap because you can't make people be sorry. It was misguided.
Agreed.
It was misguided, but well-meaning. But well-meaning is not right.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe he meant well.
Me too.
But
I think
I wouldn't have made her do that. And if her father would have been there, if I'd been her father, my daughter wouldn't have went up there at all.
Yeah.
I say, hey, look, I want her to have a godly sorrow for herself. Now, if she chooses to go up, she has my blessing. But if she don't go up, hey, I'd rather for her to have true godly sorrow with a change of heart than go up there because she's pressured.
Yeah, and there's no reason to go up. It's not like it's any good would be served by it. So there's no.
And see,
yeah.
I'm sorry, James. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just don't think there's any purpose. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. By him doing that, that means when he do wrong, he has to go to the front of the congregation as well. So if he go home and cuss his wife out, he needs to go to the congregation and say, "Look, guys, I used foul language to my wife last night,
right?
And I'm here to confess it." But see, most people's sins tend to be unseen, but God sees all. But see, that by her being pregnant, everybody gonna see that,
right?
But when you cuss your wife and stuff at home and do all those behind-the-scenes sins, I call them behind-the-scenes sins. People can't see that right away unless somebody happened to see it,
That's right.
But you got to make your deacons do the same thing. So I would have just ministered to her with love. And I agree, I wouldn't have no baby shower for her either.
Right.
I said, if y'all want to bless her with gifts and money, by all means, but we're not having no baby shower here for that.
Yeah.
That's a problem with the black community. So many kids are born without fathers, and it's destroying the communities. It really is.
It is. It's a mess. And he's trying, the preacher is trying to fight against a cultural shift towards evil. And I kind of get that. There's a cultural shift towards evil, shamelessness about doing wrong and being unwise in how you live your life, and which is ending up destroying kids, making messed up single woman raised kids, and it's a mess. So I appreciate that about that pastor.
Yeah, I did too. I was on his side on everything except him making the girl go up.
Yeah.
But not having the baby shower, and he just wanted to bring godly sorrow to people who need to have sorrow when they break God's commands. That's pretty much all what he was doing.
Indeed.
But like I said, I wouldn't have done that, but everything else he done, I approved of it. I approved this message.
Nice. That's cool, man.
The only thing I didn't approve of was when he made the girl go up, because you want to have godly sorrow. When you do wrong, you want like, oh Lord, help me not to step on that landmine again, and you want to live right, But I was looking to that pastor's heart, but as always, everybody took it like, oh, man, they didn't see the meaning behind. All they did was see him embarrass a girl. That's all they saw.
Yeah, and the girl, I don't know, the girl was so sweet and cute. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I agree with that pastor was doing, but you can't make nobody have godly sorrow. That got to come from within, as Jesse says. It's got to come from within.
That's true.
And then when you come up, you're going to have a change of heart and do better.
Yeah.
But if you do it and don't mean it, you're going to continue living the lifestyle.
That's true.
Without godly sorrow comes, with godly sorrow comes with a change of life, So I approved everything he said, all except that one part, and I believe he meant well, but, he was just out of scripture with that. And but other than that, everything else was on the dime.
Nice. Mo Betta stand-up gave a diamond over on DLive saying, Rick, always good to hear you in our fellowship.
Man, hey, tell Brother Dime, I said, what's going on with him, man? And may he have a blessed God weekend. And we all got to continue supporting your show, Nick's show, Joel's show, all the shows that's putting positive. Oh, man, did you hear before I go, James, did you hear, what's that, Nancy Mace and that ghetto blaster, Jasmine Crockett. Yeah. Now, Nancy Mace trying to say, look, we don't need men in our bathrooms. They shouldn't be competing in our women's sports.
Right.
But, yeah, that's always. Here come the black liberal women heading for, leading the charge for destruction as always. And her and AOC are for it.
Wow.
That's evil. They are for having transgenders compete with women.
Right.
But, if I was a transgender, I'd go, like if I was in wrestling, trying to give me a wrestling scholarship to go to college there, James, I'd go on wrestle a girl, and I wouldn't hold back. I'd slam her down on the floor and then put my foot on her after I win.
I disavow.
Because it's legal. It's legal.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's legal. And that's why should I go fight a man and I know I can beat a woman and it's legal? That's the easier scholarship. Least passive resistance.
True. Well, thank you, Rick. It's good to hear from you, man.
Okay, Jay. Love you, man. Good to hear from you guys. Thanks for taking my call, James. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. Take care. Wow. We are at 5 minutes till the end of the show, guys. Jim in Alaska says, Happy New Year. Maybe the devil offered you that to tempt you into that kind of world, that job to tempt you into that kind of world. I don't know if he's talking to me or if he's talking to DENZEL out of Chicago, but pretty interesting. Let's see. I got to start wrapping up the show over here. Let me see. What day is it that we need to be playing? I did have this request from, and we did talk Black church stuff today. So what about if we play this one, Rochella with the gospel inspiration, Separate the Right from the Wrong, 1992, Black church. Separate the right from the wrong. Nice. Oh. Move all over the land. Shout out to the blacks. They're Christian. It's a church. Allendale County Gospel. Clapping black people. Not bad, right? Hake always talking over everything. Terrible. Isn't that nice? Turn this demonic crap off. Mildly rejoicing. If I was transgender, Rick. I gotta wrap it up. Bye, guys.